I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Hello, and how is everyone doing today? You know, I usually say, hey, everybody, but then somebody was talking about me in there in the chat. I know it's all love, though. I hope that everyone is doing well. I have to say this, a special shout out, even before we get started, to DM, because it doesn't matter when we're doing these happy talks. DM is always the first person in the chat. He is like, Hotep, how's everybody doing? Before we even get started. So I just want to say thank you, DM, Marcus, for you guys in the chat already this today. We have a good show. We're going to learn some more. It's like we have, these shows, and each one just keeps getting better and better in terms of the knowledge that we're getting. And so this is no different from any of the other shows. We're going to learn a lot about numbers and our spirituality and meet this good brother right here, Mr. King Simon. So, but before we get started, I'm about to go down the list of stuff. I want to first actually start out by talking about our screening. Now, a lot of people actually don't know that we have a documentary. So HAPI Talks has taken on to be this entity, like this learning university, but it all came from HAPI, the role of economics in the development of civilization. It is a full-length documentary. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, okay? We premiered this July of last year. HAPI Talks came around because we were getting ready to have a big premiere at the Schomburg here in Harlem, and COVID happened. And so everything was shut down.com. So we didn't want to lose the momentum of HAPI, because Taki and Tahuti Films have been working on this film for 7 years, okay? And so we didn't want to lose that momentum. So we were like, you know what can we do? And we thought about just meeting up with some of the cast members and having a conversation over dinner. But because of COVID, we couldn't do the dinner thing. It was getting, people, just didn't know what was going on. And so we just moved it on to YouTube and to Facebook. And each week it's just getting better and better and better. And so this is really, HAPI Talks is its own entity in a sense, even though, it's Taki and I, and we have some other people coming on, but HAPI, the documentary, is the documentary. And that's what we need for you guys to see, because once you see the documentary, then all these HAPI Talks, they're clicking now, but they click in a deeper and even more spiritual way. So HAPI is like the mothership, and HAPI Talks is under that. So we need for you guys to look at HAPI, the actual documentary. Now, we have a screening coming up on February 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the screenings are really cool. Right now they're online. We're working on some stuff so we can possibly get back into those theaters. But right now we're online. So February 13th at 7 p.m., you will get a link early, like around 6:30, 6:45, and you hit the link and you watch the movie. Now, the cool thing about that is that afterwards, okay, we have a special panel discussion. And this panel discussion is fire because we have people that are going to come in, some of the cast members, and sometimes one person can't make it at the last minute. We bring in somebody else who we haven't seen in a while. And it's such a nice way, a nice culminating way to actually watch, after you've watched the film, to really just sit down with everyone and process it, because it's a lot of information. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. And so these panel discussions are fire because it's like we start talking about one thing, but then we end on something totally different. And so it's a really good way and an intimate way to get to know some of the cast members even better. And in the past, we've had Professor Small, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, because she's in the film too, Dr. Georgina Falou, Philippe Matthews he has been the person that's I can't even think of that. He's been the announcer, or the person getting everybody talking. We've had a Boot Shashat from the Shrine of Ma'at. She's been one of our people, facilitating these conversations. But we've had everybody: Boyce Watkins, Jabari Ozazi. Everyone has come in. Dr. Jacqueline Badalora, Dr. Solange Ashby, and these are all people that are in the documentary. Okay, the documentary has 30 scholars in it, 30. And so it's very important that you guys support this film by going to hapifilm.com. I'm gonna put it up here right now so everybody can see it. Okay, that's that's too small. Even I'm getting older now, and I can't even see that. But right, oh, this keeps coming up. But we need for you to go to hapifilm.com, right there, hapifilm.com, and you can go ahead and get your tickets. It's very important that that you guys support the film, and then HAPI Talks makes even more sense to everyone. Now, while you're at hapifilm.com, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Okay, I'm about to break it down. You can also join the newsletter. There's a little button up there that says, stay connected. Hit that little button and put your email address in, because we do a newsletter every month. At the beginning of the month, we send out this newsletter, and it has all these rich articles, things that are really like part of the movement that can really move us as a people. We have a health piece. We're doing current events. We do a financial piece in terms of like some financial 101, but then we also talk about a financial innovator who has paved the way for us to be here today. And then we always have a HAPI update, going on. But the cool thing about it now is that we have Umawale Africa. He's writing an article for us, and Aboot Shashat is writing an article for us too, because she's like the health yoga girl. So, this is the newsletter is really, getting this momentum. So it's very important that you guys stay connected and sign up and stay supported in that way. Now, the other thing when you're at hapifilm.com is that we got merchandise, and we keep adding new stuff. Okay, so a little while ago, we had our 10K show where we gave a whole bunch of stuff out. And one of the designers, Nubia Apparel, well, he worked with us, and he came up with one of our designs that we have. And I actually have on the blue version today. Okay. All right. You're going to look at it closely. There he goes. See the HAPI. All right. Now, we get, it comes in blue, white, men, women. And we have a lot of other designs at the store. So at the store, you can get like t-shirts, or if you just want to get a DVD copy. And Taki has actually done 2 other films. So you can get a bundle, you can get all 3 films, the Nubia, Untold Story, or Tekken. And you can also get HAPI. And if all of that is like way too much, you're like, listen, I want to look at this film tonight, you can actually just digitally download it from our website. You purchase that. So it's very important that you guys support us so we can continue to support you. Now, what's really cool is that last week we had Renoko Rashidi on, and we really made a push to have people like donate, because you guys don't understand, any little monies that you send us, we actually reinvested into our community. Everyone that we're using, like the person who made our t-shirts, it's all Black. It's a Black man and his wife. They actually made a design, and we have a Black printer who, printed up the shirts. And so all those things are really super important for us. But, and we also have been donating money to different causes, like our man, Anthony Browder. He's over there. He's the only Black person that's actually doing any archaeological work. And if you haven't seen a HAPI on the HAPI, please go to our YouTube page and check out HAPI on the HAPI. It's a film that we did. We went to Kemet to get, to sit down and talk to him. But he's doing a lot of work. And so HAPI, like, we donated money to that, because that is a way that we are reinvesting our money, but we're also making sure that we are doing as much as we can to get this information out about our greatness to everyone. And so last week I gave everyone a shout out that went to the super chat on YouTube, but there was a bunch of Cash App people. And at the time I couldn't figure out, because I'm a little older. Okay. I couldn't figure out how to find out who were the people who donated to Cash App. And so I want to just give these cats a special shout out because I really appreciate you guys. Leo Wright came in late, and he's always here. And so I want to say thank you, Leo. But Jeffrey Austin, Kathy Domes, Cheryl Rogers, Kevin Butler, Kyra Hatcher, Rochelle Thomas, and Theodore Warner, and Hassan Williams. I want to thank you guys because that's what's up. You guys are contributing to us, and we are contributing to you back. So thank you so much. And if you want to, which we really hope that you want to, please, you can go to our Cash App right there, hapifilm.com. I mean, well, no, it's just Happy Film. Make everything easy, and you can donate, for us to continue doing this work in the community. Now, if you don't have money, because listen, we're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of people have lost their jobs, or maybe, things are just tight. You still have currency, and your currency is that little finger right there that can like this video. And please, everybody, like this video, okay? Like the video and send it to somebody, share it, and also subscribe. And when you subscribe to our channel or follow us on all the major platforms, hit the notification button on YouTube. That way, as soon as we're having something going on, then there you go. We're, you'll know firsthand what's going on. So those are all the ways. So we got you covered, okay? So please just support us so we can continue to support you guys. All right. I've said a lot, and I think that we are done with our announcements. I'm coming back though with the Cash App though. But this guy right here. So this next guest is super cool. And I had the pleasure of meeting him when we were doing a pre-screening of HAPI. That's the first time that I met him. And from day one, I was like, oh, yeah, King Simon is my people's. So without further ado, here is Mr. King Simon. How you doing? Yay. Wait, I can't hear you.
It's me. Can you hear me now? It's me.
Yeah.
It's me. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You have the same hat on that I've been using all week. In the promotion.
You got the green one. This is the black one.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what's up. Well, welcome, King Simon. How are you doing tonight?
I am numerationally wonderful.
So you know what? It's interesting that I don't know. You have a lot of fans out there, and I don't know if you guys know in the chat, but Mr. King Simon has been living it up in the sun, and so every morning I'm seeing you with some sun on your face, looking great. I'm like, that's great. So yeah. I'm glad that you're getting some sun out there.
Yes, I'm in Florida, a whole nother planet by itself. And enjoying the 70 and 80 degree weather out here. Mm. Don't want to brag because I spoke to my mother up in New York, and she said it cool.
No. In New York, they actually sent out a text message to all New Yorkers like, "Hey, it's about to be cold, so you guys, really get wrapped up." I'm like, what? So yeah, it's very cold. It's very cold.
That's what she said. And then I spoke to a friend in Georgia, it cool. Then another place said in Virginia, it cool. It's snowing in Virginia. I said, really? I said, I don't want none of that cool in my system. I'm good.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, so, for those that don't know you, let's just start just a little bit by just telling us a little bit about you.
Woo, man. Woo. Man, a lot of people know me not only in throughout New York and the East Coast as a promoter, producer of different events, conscious events, but before that, I was also producing reggae shows and soca shows, and I was one of the big promoters and producers of SOBs in New York City in the 90s, the mid 90s. I also have touched every major stage in New York City except the Barclays Center, Radio City Hall, Madison Square Garden, Randall's Island as an MC and also a co-promoter for these different shows and events. So I've been a radio personality out of New York. I've worked on the first Black formatted radio station in New York called WWRL 1600 Super 16 that they used to call. It was the first Black-owned radio, Black operated radio, but it wasn't owned until like a little bit after LIB-BLS. But I was there, and the first black radio station or operated radio station had Alma John, the first black female radio station in New York. They had Frankie Crocker, they had Gary Bird was on that. Imhotep, those in New York know who Imhotep Gary Bird. Y'all should have him on your show. But he's I mean, I've been in the history of radio and television, and I was one of the first Caribbean shows to be on C-SPAN 2 in the local area of New York before C-SPAN blew up to do more news and all that. But Maestro was called Caribbean Soul at that time. And I've been a radio, television personality, and I was born in a nightclub. My father, why I'm so much into promotion. My father, after he came out the military, he's a Jamaican Cuban. My mother's Jamaican also. They came over here before I was born. And what we did, the year I was born, he opened up a nightclub. So from those times, I've been experiencing nightclub and promotion, because he also used to have pack houses, and he worked out of St. Mary's Hospital back in the day. So he was an ambulance driver and paramedic. So he was able to galvanize a lot of party people, a lot of stuff, and used to bring in all the doctors and nurses to come and actually party in our house club. We had a nightclub in the bottom of our house in the basement. So he created the ambiance. So I got my style of wanting to promote and connect with people from the time my father had was doing that. And then I at the age of 12, I started doing promotion and producing events with friends of mine too. So I've done a lot up to this day.
Yeah. And so, we're gonna get a little bit more into this little details of what you've been doing. So, but also, you had like a singing career too.
Yes, I had a singing career. Interesting. Very good. You're on top of it.
No, I mean, listen. Well, first of all, you're always singing on your Instagram. I tell you. Like I sometimes I get after my kids about being on like social media, but they're not too much on social media as much as they are with these little video games. Right. But there is a good upside to this because, not that you know the person, but it's nice to kind of see people doing stuff on Instagram,
Yes. What's so funny, my growth into knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and overstanding started not just from my family being out of Jamaica with the Rasta culture and all that, with the Bob Marley. I grew up with Bob Marley stuff and the Burning Spears and all that. But I also grew up I started my quest in the 5% Nation. And from the 5% Nation, I went to the Unsought Law community. Those who don't know what the 5% Nation, that was started by Clarence 13X, Father of Law, we used to call him. So in 14, I was in that, transitioning from the whole from getting to know myself, and that was that teachings came out of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But when I went into the Unsought Law community, I was a person that, and those who know the Unsought community, that was founded by Imam Isa, who people know as in the Nuwapian community as Dr. York. And Dr. York was a singer. And at that time, when I joined it in 84, 85, I was still in my reggae, growing up, my reggae mood. I used to throw a lot of hooky parties. I used to throw a lot of parties coming in and singing with different groups. And before I went into the Muslim community and found my way. But what had happened is that even in the midst of being in Islam at that time, that tutelage of Islam, I was listening to reggae radio, and I used to call in and win contests on the radio while I was working in their restaurant. I used to be the whole week pizza maker. I used to make pizza and cook food and do all that at the restaurant. So I've worked in 2 restaurants in my life. I'm a good cook. At least I feel I am. And when I left that community, before I left that community, Dr. York wanted me to form a band called Pazion. And that group was supposed to open up for his group called Passion. And it was going to be a reggae band. But due to other things and other craziness, they didn't do that. So when I left that community, right before I left, I met Jimmy Cliff. And I met a lot of artists. I met Ted Mills from Blue Magic. I met Bam Bambaataa. I've met Bird Song. I've met Sarah Dash in that community. I met Sade in that community. But because I was working in the restaurant. So before I left that community, brother brother Jimmy Cliff came, and I said, I always admired Jimmy Cliff because he sang the Harder They Come. He did the movie, and I grew up on his music. So he came to the restaurant, and I said, Jimmy, I always wanted to be a reggae artist. He said, never give up on your dreams. And from that point on, when Jimmy said that to me, I left that community in 88, and in 89, going into 90, I became number 5 on the reggae charts because the same producers that I was singing for from the community over the phone, they came to find me, and then they put me directly in the studio. And when they put me in the studio, my song propelled up the charts so quickly.
Wow.
It was a conscious song. It was called Black and White Story. If people can Google that up. It was under my middle name, my first name, because Simon is one of my middle names, but my middle name, I have 2 middle names. So Anthony Brown is under. You can Google that up on YouTube, and you could actually hear the song called Black and White Story by Anthony Brown. And that was me singing. And that's after I left the community, because Dr. York had recorded my first song, but they never did anything for it. So I just had to step out and do my own thing. And when I did step out in that year, 1990 is when my 89 going into 1990 climbed up the chart, singing Consciousness in the midst of a Yellow Man, Shaggy, Shabba. I was blowing up singing conscious music. So most of those guys, DJs, know me, and a lot of those entertainers from that community know me very well from back in those days, although I'm not in it there. But yeah, I still have the voice, but I let my children do that. My son, Prince Imagine, he has his own recording studio. He plays various instruments. He's doing his thing. And whoever else out of my children who wants to sing or do whatever, I commend them, because that's a part of us. That's a part of our legacy. That's a part of our history as African people going through the Caribbean. We love the drums. We love the music. So yeah, I was singing. I definitely was. I had a brief stint as far as in the music business. When I got robbed in the business, that's when I left it all.
Okay.
And what's so funny, Felicia, what's so funny about that, instead of moping in it, I reinvented myself and got myself on radio and on television. So they had to come to me to play their music. Those people that robbed me or took advantage of me had to come to me to play their music. And I became one of the top morning show personalities in New York on an AM station. We did, myself and a brother named Prince Kalunda did so well on an AM station that we made another radio station change their whole format to follow us and to battle with us.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We turned up, and the numbers and all that correlate with that too. It's crazy how this thing works. Crazy. Yeah.
You know, what's one thing, what's striking about you is that every time you're talking, you sounds like you're on the radio.
I'm radio trained. I am radio trained for real. I've been trained on radio. It's not like everybody else that's been coming on YouTube that never. I know exactly what you can say on radio, exactly what you cannot say. I know what the FCC is checking out. This is run by the FCC also. People don't really know that. Yeah. But in the background of this, FCC, the Federal Communications Board, they running this too. They're not letting none of this go by. They actually taping everything we say.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about your voice though, just your voice.
Yes, ma'am.
It always sounds like you're announcing something.
Yeah. But I've been on every major stage. Madison, I've done the shows, and Felicia, I used to be afraid of the microphone.
Oh.
And you'll never know I was afraid of the microphone.
Oh, so you're like a little Beyonce on the radio. All right, okay, a little Sasha Fierce going on when you get up there. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's why you create those personas to let it out. But when I do put a mic in front of me, whether I've done comedy shows, I've done all the different parties, I've done every major stage except the Barclays Center, and it's been. Sometimes you have the butterflies in your stomach, and the only time I've really gotten nervous on the stage is when I had to announce Bob Marley's family.
Oh, wow.
I had to bring on Rita Marley, Julia Marley, Damian Jr. Gong Marley, and all these different people because I was the MC and the place was packed. But they were, Bob Marley and his family is considered like the royal family of reggae.
Absolutely.
So when you're dealing with those type of people, it's like, oh man. So, and I told everybody in the audience, I said, out of all the shows I've emceed, this is probably one of the times that I have butterflies in my stomach and I'm nervous because I know who this person represents.
Yeah.
I know her legacy. I know her travels. I know what she's been through. And I've been listening to her since I was a child. And when I brought them on, it was on fire. We tore that place up.
Now, all right. So, I mean, you've had literally a rich history, and you're still a young guy. So now tell me, how did you even come into numbers?
Man. Oh, sister, let me tell you. My grandmother, bless her eternal soul, who comes to me in my dreams every now and then as an ancestor, she comes and say, she always put my head on her lap and say, "You'll be all right." She always do that in the dream, in certain parts of the dream, unless anything else is going on. But she used to have, I don't know if everybody remember, grandmothers used to have those stacks of cards. Birthday cards, Christmas cards, every seasonal cards they used to have. So my grandmother used to have these stacks of birthday cards, and every time she would want to mail out the letters or the cards, she'll always send me to the mailbox, or one of my cousins or my sister will send us to the mailbox. Make sure you send out this card because I want to make sure it get there by her birthday. That's what she would always say. And I'm hearing this as a child now. So I'm young, so I'm getting it. And even if she's sending it to Jamaica or Cuba or any place in Canada, she wants to make sure, she always estimate the time and when is she going to send it out so to get right there on the birthday. They always get there at least a day or two before. She knew how to do it. So I used to pay attention to that. And then moving forward, I from being growing up, they always throwing birthday parties. So as I'm growing up, I said, well, this every year around this time on my birthday or my sister's birthday, there's always cake and people and all this. So I'm getting used to this. I like this thing, other than finding out that my grandmother was the one, and my mother and them was the one setting that pace for me. But then when I went into going back to the 5% nation, the nation of gods and earths, people that know them from Harlem, we got into mathematics, like who is the original man? And we was breaking, and we had to know our 110, our 120, or you get a beat down back in those days, being honest, because they was very serious about you knowing the information, especially the scientific information of the Nation of Islam doctrine of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is without a doubt one of those people that made things happen. So it was through those lessons that also propelled me, because we had to think on a mathematical way. We had to say, what is the circumference of the planet? What was the distance between the sun? We had to deal with the planet Earth and it's how many miles of the planet Earth? 196,940,000 square miles. We had to run down all these mathematics in the 5% nation. So that was another thing that took me to another level of understanding that numbers are very significant. Something about numbers is very important. And then when I went into the Ansarullah community under Dr. York, also known as Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, he taught us abjad in some of his book, where he mentioned about the number 19 and was quoting certain things out of the Quran, and certain parts of the Quran referenced this number 19, and over it is number 19. And then he broke down about how 1 and 9 represents the Alpha and the Omega. And then when I left that community, right around when I'm becoming a reggae artist, 88, 89, I hear Lloyd Strayhorn. I hear Lloyd Strayhorn on one of my teachers on WLIB WBLS, and it was on my birthday. I called in, and I didn't even expect to get in because there's so many people calling Lloyd Strayhorn on that particular station. And I got in on my birthday, and he read my name and my birthday like a book and broke it down. So that just convinced me after that to go pursue this journey. And then when I went into the Nation of Islam to keep my discipline, to keep my focus, they also had those lessons and understanding of the lessons and the numbers and the mathematics. And mathematics is life, and life is mathematics, or mathematics is Islam, Islam is mathematics. And I was getting into all of that. So I just started learning from 1988, 89. That's when I started learning. So that's how I got into it, from my grandmother all the way. So all this stuff just carried out.
Okay. So you know how the same way how you said it when you said on the radio and you heard him and he broke it all down. Yeah. Okay. So I think some of the people and if you have in the chat, just say that you maybe if you don't, if you're not embarrassed or whatever, just to say that you've had a reading with this brother, because when I had my reading with you, okay, I was like, oh, I was like, okay. And it was so surreal in a way because, at that point I didn't really know you well, you were saying these things and I was like, oh my God, yes. And I remember you were like, and it's really good that you tape record because there's no way, it's so much information that's packed in there that you have to then go back and listen to it. But, you were able just to get right there with, with numbers.
Yes.
So let's go back for a moment because tell me, in terms of like the number systems.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Like how many number systems are there? And how do you decide which one you're going to use?
What is so interesting, that one of the most popular here in the Western Hemisphere is Pythagoras, of course, the Pythagorean system. That's what we would call modern numerology. Although he's from like 622 AD or one of those numbers there. He was the one that left from his country of Greece, or that portion of the world, and went to the darker countries, studied all this stuff. And I get all the older numerologists that I've read over the years, even this book written by a guy from the 1800s and early 1900s, Shiro, he wrote in his book, the ancient people together with the Chaldeans and the Egyptians were the absolute masters of the occult hidden meanings of numbers in their application to time and their relation to human life. So I'm like, I keep on reading these older unabridged books, unedited books that telling you that keep on sending us back. And they always try to separate Egypt from Africa, but they keep on sending us back.
Yeah.
So the system that people usually are used to here in America, getting back to your question, is the modern system because, of course, Europeans are going to promote Europeans, are going to promote themselves. But he went to Chaldea and he went through Egypt and he went to India to study most of these different systems. And then for 22 or more years, and then came back and then became the father of numbers. How does that work? He wasn't the father of numbers when he left. Just like Dionysus and Herodotus and Pythagoras, all these us went away and then come back and become the father of something. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Hippocrates becoming the father of medicine when Imhotep was already here. So once I realized that there's a system that's a little older and even far reaching, that's when I decided to take and study both systems and even use both systems to do my particular system that I call numerovation right now, because it's a new system. I'm not following anybody else. I learned to bring all what I've learned, and there's still more to learn because numbers is infinite. I'll tell anybody, you can keep on counting, drop dead, count in the spiritual realm, come back through your mama's womb or somebody else's womb and still count, and the numbers will still be going. That's how infinite numbers are. Evolving of numbers. So my system called numerovation consists of not just Pythagoras. I use the Chaldean system, which is a much more older from the darker. I use the Vedic system of the Indian system, which this is one book, and I can show you better. I can tell you. This is one book of an Indian numerologist that wrote this book. I get into that. There's even a book called Egyptian Numerology.
Oh,
I don't play with this because I'm studying, because numbers are infinite. And even what we're using now, the computer system and the phone system, have the secret numbers and patterns working behind it. That's why when you study the binary code, you see 01, 001, 001. But to a numerologist, if I see 01, 0001, I see female, male, female, male. That's ether, fire, ether, fire. So the balance to make the binary code was needed. So balance is, if we're saying there's balance in the universe, there's ma'at in the universe, to make the computer code or the binary code that runs these computers, that runs these phones, it's all connected in multiple levels and various levels. So I use all different types of systems. I use cosmic numerology. I use Japanese numerology. I use Vedic numerology. I use all kinds, because I want to get the full scope from everybody's interpretation, which basically have the same thread, but it's there to give guidance. I tell everybody, Sister Felicia, that numerology is like the darn GPS that you're using. If you put the right numbers in the right address, then I will triangulate what's going on in your life. And you can choose to do the slow road, take the slow road or the fast road. That's totally up to you. You can look at the obstruction of police or the obstructions of daddy and mommy issues. You can see all of this in numbers throughout people's lives because it reveals sequences and it reveals patterns and it reveals these different mystical systems. You know, one of our esteemed elders, Dr. John Henry Clark, may he rest in eternal peace, born on January the 1st, he wrote an introduction to a book called Africa Counts. I don't have it with me, but it's called Africa Counts, written by Claudia Vaslaski. And Dr. Clark wrote this. I want to share it with people. Dr. Clark wrote this and it's in my book on Numerovation for Mental Stability. On page 50, on page 60 in my book, it says by Dr. John Henry Clark. He said, using numbers. This is the introduction to her book. Mm-hmm. A white lady's book now, a European lady. He says, using numbers and patterns as organizing principles describes the numeration system. Some of them highly complex. The mystical attributes of numbers, geometry in art and architecture, and mathematical games, all of which reveal a highly developed understanding of mathematics. She uses photography, graphs, diagrams, personal anecdotes, and quotations from African literature and oral tradition to document this important contribution to hitherto little known aspect of African culture. That book has a great bibliography in the back of the books. She gives you a whole line of things and references to back it up too. But just by Dr. Clark putting that in the book about the mystical meanings of numbers also. And numerology, from what the numerologists do, is the mystical, esoteric one that connect to you, the human being. And that's what we try to use, because all of the great scientists like the Galileos and the Isaac Newton all said that this universe is a grand book of mathematics. But we're on Earth in the universe and we're not part of this mathematics? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So common sense says for me to do what I got to do and study how this thing relates to us. And I don't care what number system you go to. Everybody in the world needs numbers, especially if you're living in some type of major city. But the counting and patterns and sequences of numbers was even known in the rural areas because we had to learn how to count. Women was one of the first to learn how to count. They had to know their cycles and they had to know what time we had to do this and what was going on. And then like Kaba Hiawatha would say. And then you had people that when they was attacked by animals, they had to put in their brain how they was going to deal with one wolf or jackal compared to how they deal with multiple wolves and jackal. So that's a calculation happening in the mind. So we always had to deal with a counting system in antiquity. So it's just some of the ancient societies or the society of antiquity at that time. Some of them kept it secret. Something kept in because a lot of laymen wouldn't understand it or would abuse it.
Yeah.
In the ancient societies from out of Egypt and Chaldea or India. And sometimes people came and consulted. I mean, I have books where kings and queens and great people has used numerology and astrology for guidance. I mean, Morgan already said, he already said he used the numerology. Walt Disney used to use numerology. Reagan's wife, that's what helped him to preempt that killing when he got shot the first time. His wife consulted an astrologer. So we got to pay attention to the sciences that our ancestors left down, that the Europeans has usurped, reflected for themselves, and claimed it. Because one thing about Europe, one thing about people that are Greco-Europeans, they always study every superpower, every science in the world because they want to stay in power. They want to stay in power. I know a dear friend of mine, a late friend that most people know, like Professor Jeffries or Dr. Small, Professor Smalls know, named Kamati Denizulu. And when I used to go to his house, he told me personally, may he rest in eternal peace. He said that they used to send CIA and FBI to study his Akan system so they can take it back to their people because they knew how good he was. It's just like that movie. A lot of people don't remember this movie, Serpent and the Rainbow, when they used to send people in Haiti to go and study the voodoo and then try to carry back and use it against us. They want all the superpowers.
Yeah.
But what's so beautiful about numerology and astrology and all these great ones, they keep on evolving, and it's going to keep on coming out of our very being to the point we're going to start using it for our benefits. And that's what I've been using numerology for the benefit. I'm not into to predicting when the world trade fell and this, do that. And but I wanted, what is it going to do to help you, the individual? That's why I created Numerovation, because it's a blend of two worlds, just like Lloyd Strayhorn created astronumerology, and he created the new world for his astronumerology, where he blended astrology and numerology and helped it to guide people. And Lloyd, without a doubt, has been on some of the most major stages. He's been on Oprah 3 times. He's been on Katie Couric. He's been on with this knowledge.
Yeah.
We're good friends with a lot of these people. But I took now in this evolving or evolution of numerology, I created Numerovation, because numero mean using the numbers, going back to the numbers, because that's what numero means. And then vation, coming from motivation, using Numerovation or numerology sciences and using the motivational principles that I learned from Les Brown. I studied with him for a whole month in 2005. I've been in classes and studied people like Eric Thomas. I've studied people like Tony Robbins. I've studied all of them and add these principles. So I'm constantly involving, and even Reverend Ike. I take some of Reverend Ike's principles and put it into my Numerovation, because as long as you have a number connected to your name or your birthday, I can help motivate you and take you to the next level if you're willing to make that move. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's all in your hands, family.
Yeah.
So, moving, go ahead, sister.
Can I ask you some questions? So wait. So wait, we're gonna talk about the book in a minute, but let's just go back to these number systems. So are when you're looking at all these different systems, because like just regular folks who aren't like, moved to like look and do all this research, okay?
Yes.
There are the actual numbers, like, and what they represent. Do they sort of mean the same in across the board, or are the systems more, or are the systems more categorized by how you come up with the numbers? Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. It's interchangeable due to cultures most of the time, but it's the same string of interpretation. The base of the interpretation is there, but due to cultures and your depth of learning and studying, that's where you can go with it. Like, numbers, to me, it brings out the intuitive faculties in me. So even when I see certain things about somebody's death or somebody's this, it helps me. I go to it and I'll say, okay, this person is in this cycle. That's why it happened. Because remember, like I said, numerology reveals cycles and seasons and sequences and patterns. And if you're a scientist of any caliber, you always study something that's repeatable. You always study something that's observable. You always study something that's measurable. And then once you've seen all of that, you can teach it. And that's what I've learned to do. So each system, from the Chinese system, has the same base, where 1 is still the creative energy, 2 is still the expansion, but it's about exaggerating or expounding. Let me say expounding on the interpretation due to what you're seeing in the patterns. And even with me, I look at even the other side of the coin. I look at the negative. I look at the trauma sometimes. So when I see people born with, let's say, the number 6, or have the 6 in their chart, or the 15 or the 24, I know there's something dealing with family and what they need to heal from family, because number 6 is the number of balance. Number 6 would be in the Kemetic philosophy, ma'at, because it represents the balance of things, the balance of truth and understanding. That's why. So I would go to all these numbers and then look at all the interpretation and then give a full scope in my numeroscope when I'm breaking down people's charts, and I try to give them the motivational factor. Is it work? Yes, because once I start revealing certain things, whether it's your life path, your personal number, whether it's your alignment number, your achievement number, whether it's your destiny number, or your soul urge, once I start revealing certain things, you will start to click with it and say, well, you know what? I've been thinking about this all this time, but I second guess myself. I have mommy and daddy issues. I've been through this. I've been through that. That's why my first numerology book, Numbers are simple. People are complicated. Numbers are always going to be simple. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. But if you get two people born under the number 2, and one is loving and companion and clearly loving that other person, and the other one goes down to negative and say, you know what, I don't want to be your companion, or I don't want to be this, or I'm miserable, that relationship won't work. So I look at all those dynamics, because we got to look at the balance. We can't just look at this person. Oh, Alicia's born on the 27th. I mean, Felicia's born on the 27th. She's this, she's that. No, there's more to Felicia than that. And you got to look at both sides. And that's what I've learned to do, and find the traumas in numbers. We try to go into traumas because we want you to heal and do the work. It's all about doing this work.
Yeah. So family. So this is King Simon's information, because like he alluded to so eloquently, you know, that you do readings, and I see some people asking to want to know more. Bihari, there you go, right there.
Yes.
So definitely follow him on all the platforms and this is that. But that phone number right there, that's when you call, you leave your information, and you get your reading together, because the reading will help you do a lot of different things. So it's not just like a reading where, you know, it's like something just going to happen, like, oh, this is going to happen tomorrow. No. This reading can jumpstart you, you know, in changing your life, or changing a direction in your life, or getting over something. And King Simon's really good about it. But now, okay, because
I want people to text me. Pardon me. I want people to text me their full name and date of birth. And if you live outside of the United States, because I know y'all got international, please use WhatsApp. It's free. Then we could set up a whole session. But if you live inside of the United States, because I have clients from all over the world now. They call me the Numerology. And if you're in the United States, text me the regular way. But if you're outside of the United States, use WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is a free app. But you get directly to me. This comes straight to my phone. I'll let you know. I ain't about the bull crap.
Well, let me tell you, don't call if you're not ready. That's the other thing.
You text me if you're not ready, please. Don't play.
Because it's you're like, oh God, oh wait, are we going here right now? Okay. But now, because the way, you know, you're spitting out numbers. Now remember, we're gonna take a little step back, King Simon. Okay, yes, we haven't studied all these vast books. So when you are when someone is thinking about okay, you know, let me, you know, I think I want to get, you know, my numbers read. Okay. Right. Is there anything that they should perhaps do before they talk to you, or read, or you know, because I'm trying to, you know, just, you know, is there just something that we should just kind of be thinking about before we actually sit down with you?
I always suggest that they watch me on television. Watch me on YouTube. Watch what I do. Watch me on Brother Rich show. Watch me on this show. Watch me on my platform, King Simon.
So we can see what they get into.
King Simon, or watch me on my other platform that's directly for Numerovation, is the Numerovation Nation on YouTube. Or watch me on Sonetta's show. Watch me on any one of those platforms. I still do what I do and make it happen. Watch Lloyd Strayhorn. Watch all the numerologists. Some of the numerologists, you find that they're Indians and all that, and you can't hardly hear them. But watch us, your brothers and your sisters. Sister Kaya French is one of the newest numerologists out there. Those people are doing their work. And watch before you come to me. Watch. And some people come and they were so excited by what they seen. They come and like, look, I just want to know what's going on. I tell people I don't do readings. I do consultation and advising. If presidents can use them as one of their 360 advisors in the midst, then I am also an advisor and a consultant that get paid a donation and a love gift. Put it like that. I get paid to do this. And I remember, I was talking to one of my friends from Force MDs, one of the guys that sang for Force MDs, and he remembered me from the Muslim community. Mm-hmm. And in that community, we had to turn in $100 a day to help the community out. $100 a day, which I get now every half an hour to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And because I'm worth it. And you got to know your king's ransom. People who know that, the people that read the 48 laws of power, know your king's ransom, know what you're worth. Dr. Africa, the late, great Dr. Africa, is the publisher of 3 of my books. So this elder found it so fit to take a little person like me. He's big in the knowledge, but him and his wife said, yo, we love what you do. We love how you drop the wisdom. We want to publish 3 of your books. And they send my royalties still up to this day. Dr. Africa's wife, even though Dr. Africa transitioned, man, his birthday was yesterday, the 27th. Although he transitioned, I'll tell you, family, Dr. Africa was a real deal dude. And if he believed in you, he's going to support you. And that's what he did. And every time you buy one of these books on Amazon, you support his legacy, support his wife's legacy, or the children's book that I have, or the promotional book that I have. Because I wrote my first book was a promotional book. No promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. So that was the book. So it's important, family, that, there's so much going on in life. And if you want guidance, there's there. And I tell people, let me come close to the camera. Let me tell y'all something, family. It's very important to realize that numerology, astrology, tarot is not here to control you or take over your life. Even if you're a Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, and all that kind of stuff, it seemed like the church and everybody else has demonized it. And you got to remember, these books are all written by King James or Schofield or Jehovah's Witness and all these people that actually revise these books or have a copyright on this book. God's words don't have a copyright. God's words don't have a copyright. And numerology can only help your life to be better. You could be a better Christian with numerology. Because like I said, some of us are using GPS today and we right up the block from our house. This is all, you right up the block of your house. How in the world are you using a GPS and you right up the block? We used to use Rand McNally. We used to use Rand McNally's maps and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
what put all the data, all the information, all the numbers from the Rand McNally maps and put it on the computer. And now we call it GPS, which was also created by a Black woman named Gladys Mae West.
Yep.
So
Yep.
let's be respectful. Let's be respectful. And what's so funny, she's born in 1930, but I never knew the birthday. I need to Google that up. But I knew she was born in 1930. And 1930, if you add that number, 1 plus 9 plus 3 plus 0 equals 40. Or what 1 plus 9 plus 3 plus 0 equals 13, which is a 4. And the 13, the number 4 is the technological number. In numerology, it's the number of technology. So it's not coinky dink that she created it.
Yeah.
It's part of that team to me.
Yeah. Okay. So, wait. We'll just get a quick look guys for a second. Okay. Listen, everybody, please like this video. I see a lot of people on here, but there's not, like, the likes ain't matching the minute people that's on here. Come on, guys.
Stop playing.
I know. Every time when I'm looking on anybody's social platform, if you make me stop to look, I like it. That's it. Right. That's all. Just like it. This really helps us in a way so that we can be able to do more stuff. So please like this video, share it with somebody. And I ain't seen no super chats come up in this bad boy. Okay, I don't want to have to get a conversation again, guys. Come on, super chat, whatever you have, it goes back into the community.
Support people, please support, because even if you dislike the information, let me tell y'all something. That means you're disliking without real thorough study of who you are mathematically and spiritually, because it helps you to understand even your spiritual understanding a little bit more. Did you know that certain people that you see that are leaders today are born under certain spiritual number? Elijah Muhammad was born on the 7th of October, which is one of the spiritual numbers. You know what I'm saying? So people don't, one of the Dalai Lamas is born under the number 7. The people that follow, Minister Farrakhan is born with the alignment number 7. And he's born on the 11th day of May. And when you add the 5 plus the 11, that is the 16, which is a 7. So he's doing spiritual work in what he does in the depth of who he is and what he is, because those numbers that wherever they show up is there to guide you to wherever you're supposed to go. Because when you deal with people's name, because remember, numerology is the only system, a metaphysics system that transposes letters into numbers. So even if you don't give me your birthday, you give me a name, we start breaking things down. From the time you send me your name and your birthday, I'm already looking at every alphabet in your name and your letter.
Yes, you are. Oh, thank you, Be Real. Thank you. That's what's up.
Thank you, Be Real. Thank you.
Yes. So you know what now? Okay, you said something that I want to go back to.
Yes, please.
You're talking about how people use numerologists as advisors. So I had last year, I had decided that I was going to go see a lot of different people who do a lot of different stuff. So I went to like an astrologist. I checked out Infudishi Juhutimus, and I had a reading with him where he did a lot of different things. I spoke with you, and I spoke with a reader or a clairvoyant, and then I spoke with I forgot what the other woman called herself. So I talked to all these people, and it was so interesting because I felt like I had like a team, of people, but all y'all was saying the same thing.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And that's how I knew that everyone was real, because out of all those people, you're like the youngest one. So I was like, you're kind of young. I don't know, but I spoke to you last, and I was like, oh my God, it's like everything that you were saying, you just had a different way of coming up with it. You used numbers, but then someone else used planets, someone else used little cowrie shells, but everybody was saying the same thing. And I think that this is one of the things that we need to tap in, family, as because these are things that, like you said, it came from us.
Right.
And it makes you better at whatever you're doing. And
you know what's so funny about that, even with help, you got like in Dr. Africa's book, he also had like medical astrology, and there's medical astrology books out there where each part of whatever your astrology is connected to, or whatever sign you're born with, or whatever your houses are, is connected to one of the health things that might can attract certain health elements to that part of the body. Numerology does the same thing, where when I do a session, if you in the session, I would also talk about certain things you have to pay attention to just in case. Always look at the numbers. I let them know 1 to 1 or the 9s. If you have so many of them, if you have too much of them, especially in the name, because when you have the names, you have a lot of different numbers in those names that keep on popping up. If they keep on showing up, then that's what I look at. I look at the ones that has the most in your name and your birthday and all that, that can also attract certain ailments if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not willing to take care of yourself. So don't dismiss it. Learn to study it and take what you need for yourself, and then get rid of the rest. That's what I like. That's what Kaba says. Kaba Hiawatha always says, don't dismiss information. It's just like Europeans has taken our information. All we have to do is go back into their books and dig through the vomit or dig through the trash and get what we need for ourselves and use it. But numerology, astrology, tarot, all of this is our.
Tarot. That was the other one. Tarot. I love tarot. But so now wait, we gotta talk about this book before you leave. Okay, so right here. Yes. So this brother right here was like, you had the other book and you were like, oh, okay. And so then what I was like, okay, when you came out with the new book, I signed up and I was like, I got my hard copy. And then I started trying to read this, and I had to this ain't listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. You can't just pick up this book and say, oh, let me just read it on through. Oh, absolutely not. You need a little pen and paper. And first of all, you got to know your numbers. You know how like doctors are always like, know your numbers, know your numbers. That's right. Okay. So can you just take us through? Well, no, before you take us through, first tell us about the book, like when it came out and all this good stuff, how we get it. And then I want you to do something else.
This book is my fourth book, and I've written 3 before this, but this is my fourth book, and I have like 6 more to write. But there you go, right there. This book came out in 2020. It was supposed to come out earlier, but due to a lot of stuff that was going on, and it was so ironic that it's called Numerovation for Mental Stability, because 2020. 20 plus 20 adds up to 40, and 4 plus 0 adds up to 4, and 4 is one of the mental numbers in numerology. And as I've studied in the sequence of what's going on, I actually wrote this for friends of mine that has taken their life, and they were born on the 13th of the month, mind you. So 1 plus 3 is 4. Born on the 13th, one jumped off of a bridge the other day in 2020. Good friend of mine. He was my best man at my second wedding. And he jumped off of a bridge in Canada. May he rest in eternal peace. And another one had died due to an overdose. Died of an overdose. Both of them born on the 13th now. But what's so interesting, I have a cousin that was born on May 8th. And in my book, I named certain numbers that attract mental health. That's the number 4, number 7, the number 8, the number 5, and the number 3. And my cousin died of an overdose due to depression and what he was going through. So again, in 2020, because 2020 was a very strenuous year, a very mentally strenuous year because of what the global reset, so to speak. I won't say any other name, the global reset. So this book is a labor of love, and I kept it real simple and direct to the point. Like you said, you do have to go through it because I give homework.
Stop.
I did.
Simon, stop. Just stop. Okay, you did not keep it just simple.
I did keep it simple.
Okay, it's simple. It looks simple when you're looking. It's like, oh, these guys are little simple numbers. But these concepts are they're huge. Like you have to really, you're adding on. So you have to really take your time. But and I don't think listen, I think people need to get a reading first with you, and then they get this book. Because then the reading will give them, something to kind of like look at and, figure it out.
Yeah, they can get this book too. This is also, numbers are simple. I do make it simple in this book, but what happened, this I know you have my book, and I said I wasn't going to go into no elaborate breakdown about numbers. I wanted to get straight to the point. So this is like 110 pages of straight to the point. Dealing with what is necessary for you to find out the what type of numbers that you may have, or because each numbers can suffer from their own mental. But in my studies and my research that has been repeatable and observable and measurable over years, I found that number 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3, and anybody that connected to the number 4, that even if it adds up to the number 4, like 13, 22, 31, if it connected to the number 7, 25, 16, those numbers that are connected to those numbers, those combinations of numbers that are connected at any level of your chart, you have to pay attention to. Even in numerology, we have cycles. We talk about the cycles in my book, and we talk about the cycles in our book. In numerology, we have cycles and seasons, because like they said in the scriptures, to everything there's a time and a season. Numerology helps to reveal the time and season that you're in mathematically on a personal tip, on a monthly tip, even on a daily tip, and on a yearly tip. So like my year cycle is going to be a number 8-year cycle. Let me just break down something real quick about that. When you add the month that you're born with the day that you're born with the year that you're in, that's when you find out what's your personal cycle. So if
wait. Because so you add you add your birthday.
Except the year. The month and the day that you're born.
Okay, 2-digit month, 2-digit date, add them together. And you keep adding till you get to a 1-digit number.
Now, listen carefully. But if you want to find your personal year cycle, you will add the month that you're born with the day that you're born with the year we're in, 2021.
And the whole
your personal year cycle.
Okay, wait, I got to add this up. Okay, because you're about to break it down. Okay. Okay, so, okay. I know, guys. I'm looking at here right on phone on my calculator.
I know your numbers already.
Okay, so 2021 is really 5, right? So everybody can add 5, and then the month of their they were born. Okay,
right.
Okay, all right, and then what's the other one?
The listen carefully. The month you were born, added to the day that you were born, and with the year that we're in.
Okay. Okay. So you come up with the number. So then what does that number mean?
So if that's what you call the personal year cycle. That is the year that you recognize what needs to be done throughout that year, because that is the year that resonates with you throughout that whole year. Although you can also connect it to the months where you can get personal month cycles and all that. You just add it to the month that you're in, and then you'll find that too. But let's keep it simple. Like you would be in a 4-year cycle.
How you know that?
I'm doing numbers. Stop playing. I know your birthday. Stop playing. I know so many people.
You did it so fast. Okay, yes, 4. Okay,
so, you'll be in a 4-year cycle. So this is a good year for communication, but in numerology, that's also one of the crossroads of your life. You're making certain decisions going forward for the next 4 years. So the number 4 year represents structure, discipline, organization, something that you wanted to restructure your life in, as far as your business or where you want to go in life. This would be your 4 personal year to do that, because that's the number of that need to stay structured, but also keep your mind right. Because what did I say? Number 4 is also a mental number. So I always tell people in a 4-year cycle, keep your mind at a higher level. Don't listen to the news. If you only have to listen to the news just for a little bit, but get back to the positive stuff, because according to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, 20 years ago study, they said it takes 16 positive to knock out 1 negative in this society. So if that's the case, a lot of us, we got to constantly bombard our mind with positive things. And back in the day, they used to say, mind is a terrible thing to waste, which is ironic. The person that actually came up with that concept came from the Negro College Fund, the Negro College League, or Negro College Fund. I even got him in my book. He was born the 22nd on number 4. So why would he say the mind is a terrible thing to waste? He's a number 4. 22, he born December 22nd, which is a 4. I said, look at that. He went straight to the mind. And look at this one. The guy that came up with the traumatizing ways to treat mental illness, his name is Benjamin Rush. He's born January the 4th. Huh? I mean, I can't make this stuff up. Benjamin, I mean, it just leaves if people understand what I'm saying, the guy that was into psychology, the father of psychology, as far as how to handle trauma in mental health by torturing people, was born on January the 4th.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. All right. So, okay.
Studying patterns. Go ahead.
Okay. But there's a lot of numbers out here. Okay.
Yes.
And when you're looking at your birthday, like, how do you know which number should you go with? Like, do you just look and say, well, you know what? 4 is over here, but I like these numbers over here. Do I just use these? Like, how do you know?
Very good. Very good question. What in also the science of numerology, we have what we call your power numbers and your challenge numbers. So if I know your power numbers, like I would look at my numbers and say, okay, I'm born on the 1st of the month. Let's say I'm born on the 1st. I'm born February 1st. My birthday.
Wait. You know what? Can you use somebody action our chat? Little Kim right here. She put her number up. Kim, just put your birthday for us so we can break this out. You ain't using me.
Okay. Good. Great. And tell them that.
Yeah. So Kim you have to put text your not text, but put your stuff if you want to. Listen, if you don't want to do it live on air,
All right, I got no problems with it.
Because I want you to break it down so I can
tell her, give her a full birthday. Let's give her a full birthday.
So Kim Grant Harville, put down your full, because you're the only person that put your little numbers up in here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're just waiting for Kim to do this. So okay. Oh no, somebody else do theirs up. Well, no,
it up already.
Wow, somebody's born on Christmas. That's cool. Everybody else putting their stuff. Okay, Kim.
Calm down now. We ain't doing.
We're not doing everybody, but we try to give it to Kim. Okay, there we go, Kim. All right. Kim. Okay, so Kim is April 15th, 1962.
1962. Now, what's so interesting about Kim, it tells me when I look at, of course, she's an April number 15, which 1 and 5 is a 6. That tells me she's a very beautiful person, but she's also a person that one thing about people like her, she's beauty, but she's also have strength behind this. There's a lot of strength going on with her. So one thing about her, she has to always stay focus on what she want to do, stay creative in what she wants to do. And because she's an Aries, she got that fire sign that she got to be very, and she got to be very careful with what she says with her tongue, because sometimes what she said to people can cut right through a person, and she got to be very careful. That's where the number 6 come in, or the 15 come in, because 1 + 5 = 6. That deals with the love energy. Most times I tell people about people born on the 6. I've never met an ugly number 6. Unless they made themselves ugly. If you're born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month, they're usually very beautiful or very handsome people and all that. So that's all that. So what year was she born again? That was, you seen that year?
1962.
1962? That means her life path. When I deal with her life path, she's born 4/15/1962.
Yep.
1862. Her life path would be a number 1. A life path is a number 1. 1 says she's a leader. She really needs to work for herself, but she needs to work in the healing field, service field, whether she's doing nursing or natural health and all that. But she should run her own business, especially with that life path, because something about her, she don't like working for nobody. She really needs to work for herself. But because she's born under the 6th number of the 15, which is one of those magical numbers in tarot, and usually one of those numbers that represents 2 sides of the energy of good and evil, she always needs to use her power for good and balance, if I'm making any sense to her.
Yeah, well, you know what? She has another friend here, Kimi, who's like, yep, that's her. Like, she's been chiming in and said yes, but she was like, yes, that's her. I have to deal with her. So that's right. So now,
yeah.
Okay, so has there?
Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time.
I gotta take a breath for a second. So now, when you were like, what state of mind were you in when you decided to write the new book? And this is the new book, everybody.
Man.
Okay. Like what was going on with you?
Like I said, I was going through, looking back into my life, because even in the book I mentioned my grandmother, who, according to one of my relatives, said she checked into a mental facility. She's born on the 7th of the month. And I had a great grandfather that took his own life. And I didn't know his birthday, but I knew his name, and it said his name was Claude. And when you do the numerology to Claude, it adds up to 22, which is a 4.
4. Wow. Okay.
Mental numbers again. Mental numbers. So I started seeing patterns. And then in my book, I also mentioned, which I'm going to mention in my autobiography in the next 2 years, called When the Late Bell Ring, about my times when I thought about taking my own life at certain times. One time at the age of 8, there was one time in the 20s, and then there was another time in my 30s, but that was the last time. And each time that it happened, something came over me, like at the age of 8. Now, why would I be thinking about this at the age of 8? But because I was mistreated as a child, as far as being called too dark in school. So I'm treated by friends that I considered my friends, calling me all kinds of names. And plus, I still had the little accent from going back and forth to Jamaica and Canada, had the little accent. So they call you booty scratcher, all kind of African booty scratcher.
All those things are beautiful. Like, I mean, I know those people sitting here now thinking like, damn, I wish I had this little dark skin. I wish I had an accent.
But back in those days, and because I come out of family now, not just getting it from friends in school and on the street, but also in my family, because we come from the Jamaican side, they got the classism. So at the age of 8, I'm saying, who loves me? So if I'm not loved by anybody, why am I here? And I went into the bathroom to cut my wrist.
Oh God!
And people don't, I'm gonna break down that whole story when in my autobiography.
Okay.
8 years old. But what's so funny, in the darkness of that bathroom, I'm about to do it, and I kept on just skinning my wrist. And I remember this so vividly, because in the darkness of the bathroom, something just came over me and said, "What are you doing?" Like something just started yelling in my and we could call it ancestors, angels. In religion, you might say it's your guardian angel. We in the Kemetic language might say ancestors or Neturus. Whatever was yelling at me was saying, "Don't do that. You're going to miss your grandmother. You're going to miss your mother." So I put the razor back and I ran out. I started crying and I ran out the bathroom. And that was that first time I thought about taking my life. And then the second time, it's in the book. It's in this book. I talk about with my wife, and I was in the nation at that time. And I was, through the stress of marriage, I thought about taking my whole family's life and my life. But then the messenger's voice came, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why I will never disrespect the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what I learned under Minister Farrakhan and Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. The messenger used to say, "Think 5 times before you act." And that just kept on permeating in I tell you, I had the weapon in my hand, ready to do it. And it just kept on yelling in my head, "Think 5 times before you act." The messenger and the minister's voice kept on saying it at different intervals before. And I put the knife down and I said, "You know what? I'm going to leave and walk." And I just walked throughout the Bronx and just walked until I didn't think about that no more. And the last and final time was in a nightclub, because after I left the nation, I went back to the club life and doing all that kind of stuff. And in the club, I remember I had, you know, those extension cords made out of orange, those orange extension cords, those real strong ones, those real heavy duty ones. I had it ready to take my life by hanging myself. And it was going to be big because I was already a radio personality, I was a television personality. I was all that in that nightclub. And I was going to go out big. I was going to hear news, top radio and television promoter kills himself and hangs himself. Y'all was going to hear big. That's how I was going to go out. And then when I thought about it, what's so funny, I was cleaning the club, and those who know Brooklyn, Temptations at the corner of Church and Flatbush Avenue, that's the club I used to MC and do a lot. There was an empty club. Nobody was there cleaning out the club, getting prepared for that night. A lady, Felicia, ran up the stairs and said, "Where's Simon Templar? Where's Simon Templar?" Because that was my radio name. "Where's Simon Templar?" I said, "Simon." I said, "This is Simon." I said, "They're talking about you on the radio. They saying how you're a good guy and you're a good this and a good that. I want to rent the club from you because I heard so much great things about you." I didn't know nobody was talking about me on the radio, but I found out it was a Leo friend of mine talking about a radio. Anytime you want to go to Brooklyn and go to Temptation, go talk to King Simon Templar, because he will help you out and hook you. And this lady came and said that, and that struck a thing in my heart because I was just about to do what I was going to do. And she left and never came back to rent this club, mind you. And I never seen her again. And that was the last time I said I was never going to think about taking my own life, because I seen the sequences, and each one, if you read my book, you're going to see the sequences of the mental numbers coming up at every pivotal part of my life when I thought about it. So I'm like, oh, the numbers. I consult the numbers because numbers remind me of what I need to do. Even when I might be like the other day, I got emotional and I realized that I was in a 7 personal day. And I was thinking about Dr. Africa, because Dr. Africa transitioned, and the day before his birthday, a day before his birthday, I was in my 7 personal day. So I was thinking about him and I started crying thinking about him. So I had to check myself, and I went to the consultant number and said, okay, I got to flip this and think about the good things about the brother and do what I see, because it helps you to guide you to say, manage your weaknesses and strengthen your strength.
Exactly. Because, that's one of the things I remember when you were giving me my numbers, and I was like, okay, so it's good to know, like, okay, you may be going into a challenging situation because you've already read it in numbers. So you've already gotten them. You're like, okay. So it just helps you, just gives you armor in dealing with it. But now also, it seems like, I know you said you're like, I'm not going to think about it no more, but you also have a very good, like, routine of things you do. Can you share with everyone, like, your routine of what you do to help you just stay healthy, not only physically, but also mentally?
I constantly work out. I meditate before I go to bed. And I tell people, look, you can follow all the gurus and try to follow every guru to be whatever in meditation. Do what works for you. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I like about what I learned from Dr. Africa. Dr. Africa says, think on a holistic perspective. What I learned from Brother Panic or Bobby Hemmett, they always say, do what works for you. And those that might not believe in the Bobby Hemmett or the Panic because of their way of teaching things, it's all right. But at one point, I didn't listen to them because I still had a religious mind. But once you get out of a religious mindset, and I'm not talking that religion is bad, in the purity of religion, there's ancient secret. And there's ancient spiritual science to each one of these religions. Like Islam had Sufism, and I was in the Sufi order. And the Sufi order goes into the mysticism of Islam. Christianity had the Gnostics, and the Gnostics had the spiritual system. And then you have the Hebrews or the Jewish that the Kabbalah, and they get into the Kabbalistic system. So if you study the spiritual system that some of the higher rabbis and all those rest of them study, those higher imams understand, then you'll probably get a higher level. Even Masons, people that are Masons. I'm not a Mason, I've never been, but I have studied it. Even some of the Mason brothers and sisters, they have a certain higher level of knowledge that understand it. Rosicrucian, study it all. And like I said earlier, take what you need for yourself. You don't have to be part of this. You don't have to be part of that. Books and Google, everything is out there right now. All you have to do is study what you need, what works for you, and implement it in your life. Whether you're still a Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, whatever you are, don't feel this is earth. And the earth is called the learning center. So one of my regimens, even before I go to bed, I do a thing, and I just started doing this. Before I go to bed, I will spin in a whirlwind cycle. I'll spin in the dark. And then wherever I stop, I'll say that I'll do a prayer and I'll do a meditation. Because when you spin, you're creating a whirlwind of things going on. And wherever I stop inside that room that I'm spinning in, because I'm not in the tub or I'm not in the park, I will do a prayer and an ashe to all my ancestors and give all my children guidance and send power and guidance to them. And it has worked over the years, but I've done it in different sequences. I've done mirror meditations. People and Sufi order taught me that, the mirror meditation, looking into your eyes, deep into your eyes without blinking, and ask your inner self, because remember, the eyes are the mirror to the soul. Ask the inner self what you are, what you're supposed to do. And then your guiding mechanism will start to come into play. You'll be sent a teacher, because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So even Infodici was one of my teachers. People that I've watched, and I've never joined a real class, but I've always watched and pay attention to. Dr. Blair was one of my teachers. Dr. Africa was one of my teachers. Dr. Sadie, Queen of Fua, one of my teachers. Every one of them came at different. Phil Valentine, all of them came. Dr. Ben, I met Dr. Ben. I've watched Dr. Ben at the UAM with Ultimatics. I've spoken at the Ultimatics. And I said to myself back in the day, I said, one day I'm going to speak on that stage. And one day I did speak on that stage. I spoke on Ultimatics stage, UAM. And I met Dr. Clark before he transited. I met Queen Mother Moore before she transited. I worked with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I've seen Barashango speak. I've seen so many people, but these ancestors that I send tribute to, we all have these things in our family. So my regiment is all about my family, all about my extended family, all about my true friends. And I even pray for my enemies, because I believe that haters make me greater. You can hate all you want on me.
Oh, no,
some people hate my smile, that I smile too much. It's all right. I got all 52 of my teeth, and I'm 50 years of age, turning 54 on Monday.
I love it. No, I love it. And you know what? If people, this is a beautiful thing about the internet. Just Google Cat Williams and haters. That whole skit he says about haters, yeah. I love haters too.
Yes.
Because haters, they just keep you on your game, in a way that no one else can.
Sometimes they become your friend, or they become somebody that supports you, because even if you press the dislike, you watched it. You got something in your head. You got a germ. You got a seed in your head. I already planted something.
Yeah. That's okay. Now listen, well, you got a little morning thing you do too. So tell us about your morning.
My morning regimen is usually, of course, meditation, because I usually come out of the dream world or the astral realm when I get up, or the recording world. I get up and I get some vivid dreams, and I try to write them down as much as, because I know it's telling me something about my past, present, or future. And then my morning regimen usually is to go outside, walk, especially I'm in Florida. I'll go by the lake over here, or I'll go to the beach one day, or I'll go to the pool over there, and I'll sing a song, or I do a thing called numerovational flyby, where I come on my Instagram, that's King Simon Productions on Instagram, or I'll come on my Facebook at King Simon, or King Simon Productions on Facebook, and I will break down the number of the day, or break down whose birthday is that today, and I'll break down certain things. I might even sing, because I'm a singer. And one of my teachers, Imam Isa, Dr. York, he said to me years ago, he said, your soul is 76 trillion years has 76 trillion years of knowledge. That's what he said about my soul, and all of us soul. But he said, my soul has 76 trillion years of knowledge. Anytime you're sad, sing. Anytime you're sad, sing. And he has been right. Anytime I sang about when I was feeling down, even when those times I thought about the suicidal things, I thought of different songs. Not at 8 years old, but when I got old, I started thinking, because that's what I love to do. I think about Bob Marley. I sing songs like Ain't No Stopping Us Now. I sing all those songs. I start playing it. But those songs resonate with me. So I would sing certain songs out in front of my morning regiments, also to boost my energy up, but also share myself with y'all, because it's all about, this is a give and take. This is energy work that we're doing. This is about give and take. And I hope your audience is receiving my energy like I'm receiving their energy. And I'm saying, look, it's all about energy, man. It's all about working and understanding Netarus or the Orishas and all the great ones, all the great sciences, and learn how to use it for yourself. Like somebody said in your chat, you know, spit out the bones and eat the fat, whatever he said. But that's how you gotta pay attention to these things. So I do different regimens throughout the day, and then I do consultations for people. And remember, people like Iyanla Van Zandt, born September 13, she said, sometimes we teach what we need to learn. I've been fired 3 times from a marriage. I've been fired. I've been through 3 marriages. I'll be real. So sometimes when I'm talking to people about relationships, I needed to learn it too, and it helps me. So when I'm talking to somebody in a numerovation session, what I'm telling you is also helping me to become a better person every session. And I've done thousands of them, and they've kept me to be take me up to another level, man. And I'm so appreciative of those who support me and those who do sessions, who buy my books, because I'm sharing what I know for myself to give y'all guidance, because knowledge is infinite. And don't let people tell you that they know everything. They don't. Some people don't even know how many pores they got in one arm. Stop playing. You don't know everything. You know? So always be willing to learn. Always keep the young energy to learn. What's one thing I love about my teacher, Lloyd Strayhorn. He's always willing to learn. He's always willing to study. He's always willing to reach. And I've taken that on. I carry like 30 books with me on every trip to study and read. I even got this new book I had in the mail. I got the business book by Robert Kiyosaki, and I got the book of Khalid, the damn book, because I'm about to interview Malik Zulu Shabazz. So I'm looking at, I study even on the trips. And what Dr. Africa told me, he said, yo, Google was all about data and information. So all you have to do is Google nowadays. We don't have to go into the library and submit our library card anymore and go in the bottom. You can Google nowadays. But I do implore people to still get books, read books.
Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
Because you always have books. And, you know, I was talking to Professor Small yesterday, and every time you talk to him, he going to give you some books. And so he was like, did you write down those books I told you to get? And I was like, yes. He's like, and read them in this order. And so he gave me the Book of the Tao. And I was like, yeah.
I have the Tao.
Yo, I got the Audible version. I was like, oh my God, this is such a good book. But you're right. It's like, these are our sciences, and that we need to grab back hold to it, you know, and really use it so that we can propel to the next level.
That's right.
You know what? Listen, King Simon, it's a pleasure you coming on here. I'm so happy. But I just want to inform, I just got news that Cicely Tyson passed away.
My sister.
Cicely Tyson.
Oh no, my sister, my beautiful sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
92 years old. So, you know,
92 years old. Wow.
Yeah. Just keep a little prayer in their hearts for Cicely Tyson as she made her transition today.
Wow. And you know, and people, that sister, I never got to meet her, but I studied her life, especially when she was with Miles Davis. And, you know, she's born December 19th, which is interesting. She's born December 19th.
No.
And when you now watch what I'm saying here. I'm going to show you something. When you add December plus the 19 plus 2021, she would be in her 11-year cycle, and 11 is one of the health numbers. See how I'm looking at a cycle now? All the even numbers, because 11 adds up to the number 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and exclusive to 9, but 9 is also one of the health numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8 is the health numbers in numerology. And usually it's either a loss of something or a gain of something, especially family members or loss of life, whatever. So in the health cycles, we had to pay attention. So I just did it. Everybody can do it on the phone. Everybody add 12. And she's born December the 19th. Add 12 plus 19 plus 20, 21 is 2052. They say 2052. That's 7, 8, 9. Now the 9 cycle, when you did 2021, that's the 9 cycle. Wait a minute. Let me show you the 12 plus 19 plus.
I'm sorry, yeah, she was 96. Somebody corrected me. Thank you, Kimmy.
Now, okay, but no, it added up. It adds up. Actually, it adds up to the 9 cycle. 9 is the number of completion. Let's go back to the 9. 9 is so 9 represents endings and completion, because when you add it all up, it actually adds. I made a mistake on it, but it adds up to the number 9. but all the health cycles is 2, 4, 6, 8. So she was already in a health cycle before her birthday in 2020. So people don't realize. So now they're in 21, the completion, the ending cycle that we're in now that she's dealing with. So this I tell people all the time, pay attention to the cycles. Pay attention to the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So condolences to her family, Cicely Tyson's family, condolences. I mean, she passed on today on the 28th. And today is Creflo Dollar's birthday. Today is Rakim Allah's birthday. Today is Rick Ross's birthday. Woo! There's a lot of birthdays going on today, but
yeah, you know, you literally when you start before you even, I don't know if you know King Simon, before he even starts talking, if you say someone's name, he's like, oh, it's such and such birthday, and then he starts telling you about like whatever. But you know everyone's birthday, you keep it in there. So you were built for this. So guys, I'm telling you, get the book, okay?
Yes.
But his phone number is right there. Text him your full name.
Right.
And your full birth date, so that you can get your reading because that's that's really important.
And remember, numerologists are not mathematicians. We are just people that use numerology as an esoteric. I'm not a mathematician. I still use my computer. Stop playing. I'm not afraid to tell people. I'm very transparent. You know, we make mistakes in numbers. That's why it's very important that you are patient with me, because I have to transpose letters into numbers, and then I have to do the whole, either the adding, the subtracting. I got to do the multiplication depending on
your numeration. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, no, that's what's up.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, King Simon. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. I'm noticing, I was like, wow, you got the Numerovation shirt on and you have it behind you. So everyone right here, all his information is right there. His phone number. Definitely reach out to him, but at that
website, I would like to give the website. The proper website is kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, not Eventbrite. That's when I'm doing my events, but kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. You can get this shirt. You can order this shirt, the New Motivation shirt, if you want to see it. You can order that shirt, and that's on my website too, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com/products. So that is that. So if y'all want to get the products or get the books, you can also order my hardcover book through my WordPress, or you can go to Amazon and get the soft cover books. The hardcover, we got the hardcover over here. And we got the soft cover. So I only got 2 more left that I'm selling also. So if people want to order, they can text me if they want to order these last two I got that I can knock out right now and send it to you by tomorrow. And if you want to get it, and I'll text you. Once you text me, I'll text you the information on how much it costs and all that, and then we can make it happen. The soft covers are $30 and the hard covers are $40. And that shipping and handling is included. Everything is included in the price. So you make sure we good.
All right, darling.
All right, my dear. And please, family, please put that website up again. Please.
Yeah, there you go.
Please. I
feel like there's like Rudy on the Cosby Show.
Please.
You got to come here pleading.
Please know who you are mathematically, family. Every number means something and has an interpretation. And remember, everything behind the scenes is ran by numbers. The computer, the word. I looked at the back of this computer, and this calculator, and it has numbers in there, the serial number to keep count, to keep order. It's here to bring you guidance. All you have to do is accept the guidance and use it for yourself to be the best you want to possibly be.
Yeah.
That's all you want to be. All right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sister Felicia. And thank you, Brother Taki, and the whole HAPI family. Support HAPI. They got the screen.
Yes.
13. Show them some love. Spread love. Spread love to them. Spread love.
I tell you, see, this guy's always singing. Follow him on Instagram and on Facebook. But follow this brother. But thank you, King Simon.
Thank you, my beautiful sister. And be safe. And I can't wait to see you when I come back into New York, my sister.
Yes, when it's warm.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, my birthday is Monday, people. So we're going to have a good time on Instagram briefly until I get to my meditation.
Yes.
I'm born the same day as Rick James. Langston Hughes.
Follow him. Please follow him. Thank you, King Simon.
All right. One love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, there it is. So listen, just, get started. Our the people who we have on these shows are always dropping gems, and it's like I sit here and it's like I learn so much, and then you guys learn. This is just a very cool love fest. Thank you guys for liking this video. Even though we're not all the way, everyone's not liking the number. Just like it before you leave. Just like it. But also, we have a screening of the film. Remember, HAPI has a film outside of HAPI Talks. We have an actual film. It's a documentary. It is 2 hours and 12 minutes. Our next screening is right there. February 13th at 7 p.m. After the screening, there's a panel discussion. It is like a whole bunch of our cast members. They are having, we always have intimate conversations about something. And sometimes there's a whole bunch of different things, but please support. You can go there, make sure you sign up for the newsletter. You can also get merchandise and those tickets for February 13th. And before I go, I want to give some shout outs because we have our esteemed elder in the house. I know that the Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Dr. Rosalind Jeffries are looking at HAPI Talks, so peace to them. But John Henry Staples, thank you. He also contributed last week too. Thank you, Mr. Staples. But he is in the house. And it's like, sometimes I don't even feel right getting started until I see his post, because he's always saying, hey, I'm from Riverview, Florida. So you guys give him a shout out. But Chad, be real, thank you again. You're the only person that did a super chat, but thank you. Johari, all of us that, thank you for everyone that follows us on our social media already. And remember, guys, February 13th, get your tickets because it's gonna be lit. As the young people say, it's going to be lit. Go to hapifilm.com and get your tickets. So without further ado, I'm out of here, you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time, peace and blessings.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?